Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Nelly of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another edition of Stout Sunday. And you're looking at myself, John and Nelly, and Ronald J. Terrio of Louisiana Beer Reviews. We may be joined by some other people, may not. I don't know. I haven't heard anything back from anybody else. So we might just have to run this thing by ourselves, Ron. So.
Oh, well, I can do a critter call if I have to. Okay.
So go ahead and tell us what you've got this morning, Ron.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm doing my videos, I have to do a critter call, and they'll come run. They'll come running, you know. Okay. I have just the only thing I have today is CBS. The only stout I've got. So sorry, I've done it before. I got to bring it again.
Hey, that's it's an incredible stout to bring. So
I guess it's the kind of stout you could bring every week and people wouldn't mind.
Right. Awesome. Okay.
11.3% alcohol.
I've got one that I've never had before. I bought a 4-pack. It's one of the Evil Twin Jesus beers. I was hoping Michael would be here because, you know, Michael loves these things. And this one is the even more 8-pound, 6-ounce newborn infant Jesus, 5% alcohol, the lowest alcohol variant of any of the Evil Twin, even more Jesus beers that I've seen. So it's a 5% milk stout, and the IBUs for this one are not listed either. So I'm excited to try it.
We get a lot of Evil Twin beers around here. Not so much McKellar anymore, but Evil Twin.
It's interesting, or it's strange. We get a lot of the Evil Twin, but I've never seen any McKellar beers here. So, ooh, quite the head on that.
Wow. Well, that's a kind of a tall, that's a Foster's glass?
Yeah, it's I think it's a 16-ounce Foster's glass. It may actually be a 20-ounce. This is a 16-ounce can, so I wanted to be able to pour the whole thing in there, but that's not going to happen right now anyway.
I wish we'd get the Foster's Stout.
And that'd be nice.
It's called Sheaf Stout, and I'm not joking about that. It's really a beer. But of course, in the United States, we get 2 Foster's beers, and that's it. We don't get the other 20.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of beers like that. We're just scratching the surface here in the States and in Europe and these other countries and continents. They get a lot more than we do and will ever get, apparently. I don't know why. I guess they don't think we're worthy of some of the beers that they make.
Either that or they think that the beer market is so flooded already, which it is, that it compete with the craft beers. I think it's a mistake because people will try stuff. Well, I don't know. Some of the craft beer fans are really funny about it. Like, they won't buy it because it's from a major company, even though it might be great. They got hang-ups. So maybe it's smart. They tried selling Heineken Dark. People wouldn't buy it. It's no longer made. So look it up.
Right. I believe I got to try that way back, like when I was 21, 22. I think I got to try it once, and then of course it disappeared.
Yeah, we used to get that all the time, but phooey.
All right. Well, you want to tell us a little bit about the CBS there?
Sure. Well, it's expensive. It was $5.49 for a bottle. So you're looking at close to $22 for a 4-pack, which from what I'm hearing is cheaper than a lot of places.
Yeah, it's kind of up and down here. Although I can't find it anymore here. I don't know if you still see it all over the place there, or if it's disappearing.
But Thurn still has probably a few 4-packs left. They still have KBS left. They still have Bourbon County. Matherns had a good sale in Bourbon County last or 2 weekends ago or last weekend. It was $9.99. Man, or maybe I should have bought some. $9.99 for that 500 milliliter. Bourbon County, 15.2%.
That's better than the $20 bottle that I bought for the variant, the 13.5% coffee variant that I got.
See, I could have bought another 500 milliliter Bourbon County, and then drank it on air so you could watch me and then just wish because you couldn't actually have it.
Right.
Because of those friendly Georgia laws. All right. Come on, Georgia. Get it fixed.
Yes.
Look how thick. Look how dark. The head is not really hanging around, but this is kind of a wide brim cocktail glass. Probably a good glass for making a Sazerac. Oh yeah, the aroma. Bourbon barrel. I know they put maple syrup in some of those barrels also, but I don't really pick that up in the nose. I know it has it because they say it. I don't think they add actually maple syrup to it, but it's from a barrel that was holding maple syrup.
Supposedly it's bourbon barrels that once housed maple syrup.
Yeah, so you do get a lot of sugary sweetness. Rich dark malt, nearly burnt. Now it's almost like they roasted the malt so dark that they burn them, but they didn't burn them. They came right to the precipice and stopped, which is always good because a lot of companies, I don't care if they macro or middle crow or micro, they go to the edge and they fall over, and then you taste the beer and it tastes like charcoal or it's burnt, which isn't really too pleasant. The mouthfeel, velvety, chocolate notes, coffee notes, maybe maple, but I wouldn't be mentioning that if I had known better. But some kind of sugar, so it could be that. There's like some kind of sugars like you would get with syrup. It's a sort of a sweet finish. It's a sweet beer. If you're a hophead and you only like really bitter products, I don't think you're going to like this. If you're eclectic and you like all sorts of things, you be grabbing banana bread beer 1 minute, Keystone Light the next, then you grab in CBS, then you grab an Alembic. People do that. Then you probably would like it, especially if you're into high ABV beers. And I think that stouts do very well at this 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, up even 15.2% level because they kind of mask the booze, the alcohol, and it kind of works together better. If you take a lager, they're light in body. It just screams alcohol, screams chalk, screams. You just can hardly stand drinking it. It may not be that they're bad theoretically, but they bad in a practical sense. Even the Santa Claus beers are hard to take. I can tolerate one a year.
Oh, that Santa Claus Classic, man. I thought that was incredible. I've only had it once, and I haven't seen any of the other. I know they make other Santa Claus beers. The one that I had was the Santa Claus Classic, and I think it was right at 14%. That's probably why I can't get the other ones because they're above 14%. But
no, they're all 14.
They're all 14? Okay. Well, anyway, I thought it was good. It was very sweet. Some people might find it cloying, but man, oh man, it reminded me actually a lot of the Goose Island Bourbon County wheat wine that I had last year or earlier this year, I guess, when I came to visit you in New Orleans. The one that I bought at the I can't think of the name of the liquor store, but it was one of the ones that I went to with David in New Orleans. One of the stores we went to there.
Oh,
I can't remember the name of it though. But anyway, I bought
the 504 Reserve. The 504 Reserve.
No. This was actually just a straight up liquor store, package store. It was I can't remember the name. I'll have to ask David.
There's so many.
Right. But anyway, that was a $20 variant. So but it was 15 or it was 14.8, maybe somewhere in there. So I wouldn't have been able to get it here in Georgia. But so I see it there, and of course I jumped on it.
Santa Claus, they make the classic, the Schwartz, and the Helles. So the classic.
I'd like to try the other two. Yeah.
Yeah, the classic
I thought was world class.
Yeah, they are, but they're so strong it's like getting drugged. The Schwartz is black. The Helles is bright. We would call it a malt liquor. And well, it says malt liquor on the label, actually, on all three.
It does. One of the few.
The classic is brown.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see that a lot anymore. People actually choosing to label their beer as malt liquor, except for, of course, your macros like Colt 45, Old English, stuff like that. But
right. So anyway, this one, but I like the Santa Claus, I could drink once a year and tolerate it. This one I could drink once a week.
Right.
No, man, no problem. Okay. Well, that's it for me. It's just dynamite.
All right. Well, we'll come back to you with a rating here in a little bit. So the Evil Twin, there you go. I'm not going to read that long name out again. I'll put it up on the screen for a second. So anyway, the aroma with this one, getting the dark roast, so some dark chocolate, some toasted bread notes. I wish I knew what the IBUs are. I'm definitely getting some hop character on the aroma with this. Some real earthy hop character. It smells really good. Like I said, this is the lowest ABV Evil Twin Stout that I've ever had. Most of them are 9, 10, 11, 12, 13%. So 5% for an Evil Twin Stout is very low. The appearance was black. The head, kind of a frothy, dark tan head.
Yeah.
I mean, it smells good, toasty, roasty, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of the earthy hop character. That's about it. So cheers.
Cheers to you. Clink.
Clink, clinkety clink. Okay. So initially you're getting the roast. It's like really darkly roasted, not quite charred, but it's almost got a bitterness from the roast. Like you know when you have a stout that has that really dark roasted barley malt in it, you get a little bit of bitterness from the actual roast itself. I'm getting that from this. There is a touch of dark chocolate, nice and bready in the middle. The finish is kind of short-lived, actually. It drops off relatively fast. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a dry finish, though, because it is a milk stout, so it does kind of have a creamy mouthfeel. The bitterness with this one, though, is really up there. It reminds me of like a Russian Imperial. If I had to guess, I would say the IBUs are somewhere between 50 and 70. They're definitely getting up there. So for me, I mean, this is probably a perfectly balanced stout. Maybe a little bit more on the bitter side. I like my stouts more on the malty side typically, but nonetheless, it's an excellent stout. It reminds me a lot of the old Rasputin, actually, with less alcohol. Because the old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout, I thought was very good, obviously, but it was very bitter on the finish, and that's what I'm getting with this one here. Real quick, I'll go to the chat. We got Jeremy Vinson. Says, cheers, guys, would join, but all I got is that Lost 40 S'mores Queen. Hey, bring it, Jeremy. Come on in. We got plenty of room on the panel.
Yeah.
And I forgot what you rated. I know. I had one. That's one of the ones he sent me. I thought it was really good. Drank more like a brown ale, though, than a stout. But I thought it was really good, and I'm sure the world would love to hear about it again, Jeremy. So get it and bring it on here if you want. Drunken One says, running gas. I will join, but I'm on the road to work.
Oh,
well, don't work too hard, Drunken One.
Gotta work. You gotta work.
That should have said, good morning, guys. Okay. Drunken One likes to do that voice to text thing on his phone, and it always turns out completely wrong. Well, thanks for stopping by, Jeremy and Drunken One. Jeremy, if you want to join, please feel free. Got a small group today, so plenty of room on the panel. So yeah, Evil Twin. I've been impressed with Evil Twin beer. I really like pretty much everything I've tried from them. Whether it's the stouts, most of the stuff I drink from them are stouts. I've had a few of their IPAs that I thought were really good as well. They just make good beer. I wish we could get more of their beer here, but unfortunately, they're a company that likes to make these super high imperial beers, 14+%. So I don't get a lot of the selection of Evil Twin products here. I only get the stuff that's 14% or less. So, but anyway, of the beers that I've had from them, I think they're all really good. This one's no exception. And there you go. So, Ron, I have a feeling I already know what you're going to give that CBS. But for anybody out there who doesn't already know what you've rated it on your reviews on your channel and on previous Stout Sundays and examinations, what are you thinking about the CBS?
I'm surprised that the beer you have at only 5.5 is so rich and complex.
It is very heavy. I didn't mention the body. It's medium to almost heavy, actually. It's a very heavy body beer for a 5% beer.
I was thinking about that when you were talking about it. Well, this one is like a dessert. It's like we were at Sazerac House yesterday, all right? So I noticed one thing about Sazerac. Every time you go there, they have different drinks they're sampling, which is interesting. We had a Sazerac cocktail. We tried some rum, just neat rum from Trinidad. Boy, that was dynamite. I told David, you want me to throw you a cup away? I'm still drinking. I said, okay.
Was it a clear rum or a spiced rum or a golden rum? Okay.
And very, we're talking about $30 a bottle. And then Jean-Pierre wanted to get this Haitian rum, and I said, I think I know where to find it. I've seen that Haitian rum. And then he said, well, maybe not this weekend, but because he does want to get it because, his family's from Haiti. And then we tried something called pralines and cream, bourbon cream with pralines. You might have heard of bourbon.
Is that the same pralines?
Yeah, pralines. Yeah, pralines and cream. But this was one with pecans in it. It was like
I love pecan, pecan brittle, pecan praline type stuff. And by the way, I guess down there in Louisiana, praline, you'll kind of draw it out a little bit. Up here in Georgia, we call them pralines, but same thing.
Yeah, they're called pralines, and the pecans are called pecans.
Pecans. My mom calls them pecans.
Yeah, here they say, "Where's y'all's pecans?" All right. I got a pecan treat. Anyway, that was so dynamite. And then my friend David he tells the girl, hey, can we try some of that double Eagle Rare?
Oh,
$300 a bottle, $400 a bottle. It actually might be more than that. I think it might be $1,200 a bottle because it's got the sculpture inside the bottle, the eagle inside the bottle. And the glass.
Oh, wow.
It's a
hand. I've tried the standard Eagle Rare, which I believe is
10
somewhere. Yeah, I guess it is. It's like the tall, very thin bottle. And I believe it's between like $30 and $40 a bottle, which is not too bad for the quality. I mean, everything I've heard about Eagle Rare is just amazing. And Robert the Whiskey Scout highly endorses it. So I'm sure it's good.
It is good. David had some. But then there's a 17-year aged. The base model's 10 years. There's a 17-year age, which is considerably higher than $30. I can go to Walmart and get Eagle Rare, but the Eagle Rare 17 is hard to find. And then there's the double Eagle. Well, forget that. You're not going to find it in most liquor stores. You almost have to special order it.
It's kind of like the Pappy Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle products where you're like on a waiting list type of thing.
You just can't. But David, him, he says to the girl, she said, you want to try some of this pralines and cream? He said, yeah, but can we try some of that Eagle Double Rare, that Double Eagle? He said, well, she said, well, no one ever actually asked to try it. She said, I think you have to buy it. He said, well, I just figured if I asked, you might do it. And she said, okay, well, I'm gonna let you try this pralines and cream, you know. But anyway, I said, if you said, I said, how would we feel if she would have said yes? He said, I'd have felt pretty good about it. Anyway.
So Michael just texted me. He's here in spirit, but he is actually down in Florida with his sister and wife going through his mom's personal effects.
Oh,
you know,
right.
his mom passed away recently. So we wish you were here, Michael. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
I forgot he told me he had to do that, and I totally forgot. That's why he's not here.
Yeah, this is actually the longest. I think it's the second week in a row that he hasn't been able to join. He was sick last weekend.
Hey,
well,
Michael.
he joined, but he didn't drink. He just was kind of hanging out with us a little bit.
Hey, Michael, if you miss a third week in a row, you're going to be banned. You know, but,
three strikes, you're out, Michael.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back. You might say, why are you bringing up this story? It doesn't make any sense. The reason I'm bringing up the story is that this product is reminding me of the bourbon pecan and cream. You know, the bourbon cream with it's reminding me of that. And that's a cream. You've had those bourbon creams and things like that.
Oh, yeah. I love Bailey's. Amarula is one of my favorite. It's made with the marula fruit from Africa that falls off the tree and ferments within 48 hours. And the animals in Africa eat it, and they get inebriated off of it. And there's a lot of YouTube videos that are kind of funny watching elephants and monkeys and stuff eating the fruit and getting intoxicated from it. But it's a really good cream liqueur. Anyway, if anybody out there is interested.
So this reminds me that it's a dessert product. You could drink this for dessert. It's that rich. And it's clearly 101. It's 100 out of 100. That's the lowest I would give it. You know, if I was really nitpicking it and finding fault, I'll give it 100.
So the question is, because I know how you rate your beers, 100 out of 100 is perfect. But when you go to world class, you give it over 100. You're saying the lowest you could give it would be 100. Would you consider that a world-class beer, or would you just consider it like just under world-class?
Yeah, I think it's just 1 point under. It's not a 101. I had a 101. I got to post that soon. Lawrence Hartnett, thank you, Lawrence, from Kentucky, sent this obscure beer to me. And I drank it, and I said, whoopie-doo, whoopie-doo, whoopie-doo. It's a 101. That was a world-class beer, and like 99.9% of the viewers can't get it. And I was like, hello. So that was a dynamite experience. But this one is, I mean, you know, it's great. It's, you're getting a perfect beer for $21.96 a 6-pack, a 4-pack. Hey, there you go. You got it. You got it, man. And you say, it's the last year they're making it. Yeah, well, probably, maybe. You know, these things they're like Spock. They die, but they come back.
Right. You never know. With the demand might get to the point where founders will have to bring it back. I mean, they'd be, you know, stupid not to if the demand gets that high, because there's a lot of money involved in it. But
I can't think of any legitimate reason a person would not drink this, except that if they said they couldn't afford it. Well, yeah, I mean, if you can't afford it, that's a legitimate reason. But other reasons, I can't see it. I don't think there's any credible reason why you would not buy it and try it.
Right. I mean, it's not something that people are going to be buying, or most people are not going to buy a ton of it because of the price point. But it's worth trying at least once. I mean, even if you got to buy, you know, I guess your best bet would be to find a single, like if you could buy a 12-ounce bottle. But here, unfortunately, we can only get the 4-packs. They don't break it down into singles like that. And in years prior, it was only available in the 22-ounce bomber bottles for like $21 or whatever. But I mean,
we got both here. Yeah, we got both here. And the good thing about Matherns was they sold the single the same price as the 4-pack. So it didn't really matter. Like if you didn't have the money for the 4-pack, let's say somebody didn't have the money, but they could afford to buy one a month. Well, you could have, in 4 months, you could have bought the 4-pack.
Right.
Same price.
Yeah, it's not more per, like a lot of times when they break them down, they'll charge you more per ounce if you want to just buy the single versus buying the 4-pack.
Yeah, over there, usually the manager just gets on the calculator and says whatever the 6-pack or 4-pack divide by 6, divide by 4, and that's the single price.
Right.
Fair.
So we've got JoJo in the chat. JoJo's Cider Reviews and More. Go check him out. He's got a new YouTube channel. Does a great job. He says, happy Sunday, guys. Happy Sunday to you, JoJo. And Commerce Ozzy is becoming a regular here on these Stout Sunday. Says, good morning. I have to work today, but I will be enjoying some Founders Breakfast Stout and Founders Imperial Stout later. Both excellent choices, although actually I can't say both excellent choices. I've heard that the Founders Imperial Stout is amazing. I need to buy a 4-pack of that.
Best stout I ever tried in my life.
Oh, really? That is a very bold statement. Well, I'm definitely going to have to pick up a 4-pack now next time I go to the liquor store. I've been seeing it for a while. I know it's a newer release, but apparently it's a re-release of a stout that they had brewed years before and discontinued, right? Just like the CBS, and then 5 years later they bring it back. So who's to say that the CBS isn't going to do the same thing? But yeah, that is a very bold statement coming from Louisiana.
Should I say it is maybe the best stout I've ever had.
Okay. Wow, and you've had a lot of really good stouts over the years, so that's
I'm going right. I have,
man,
some of the best in the world, and that's no joke. The truth,
right? Awesome. Well, before we get too off topic here, let me go back to this. I have not rated this yet. I really like this stout, but it's not one of my favorite of the Evil Twin Jesus line of stouts that I've had. I like the higher ABV, more malty versions, some of the barrel aged stuff as well. It's an excellent stout, but it's not blowing my socks off. It's a little too bitter for my personal tasting preferences, but that doesn't mean that it's losing points because of that. It's still, up there. I'm just going to go, I'm going to go with a 94. It's a solid A. I was going to go 95, but it's not quite there. So 94 out of 100. It's a solid A, and if you like stouts with a little bit more bitterness, then you would probably rate this much higher than I would, or than I am right now. I compare it to the Old Rasputin, a Russian Imperial Stout from North Coast Brewing. If you've ever had that, this is very similar to that. So 94 out of 100. And we've got Carnal Flores in the chat. Cheers, gents. Where's Mikey Kormroff? Mike could not be with us today. He's down in Florida until next weekend, but he will be back soon enough. Drunken One saying that a single is $7 and change. For the CBS, $7? That's kind of getting up there.
No way, never. Just imagine.
Yeah, I agree.
Pay for it. Just imagine.
Anyway, all right. Those are all the relevant comments.
Relevant.
All right.
That means that irreverent. Right. Let me see what we got there. What's the price point on that beer you're drinking?
This was $11.99 for the 4-pack. I probably would have gone with something else if I had paid attention to I didn't even look at the ABV until I got home. I thought that was a pretty good deal for a 4-pack of Evil Twin 16-ounce cans. But the fact that this isn't bourbon barrel aged, the alcohol is right at 5%, and it drinks just like a pretty standard stout, it's probably a little overpriced. But
how much?
Nonetheless, it's an excellent beer. Huh?
How much again for a single? Like if you could buy a single.
Yeah. Well, I didn't buy. Yeah, I can only buy the 4-pack was $11.99. So let's say $12. 12 divided by that'd be $3 a can.
Yeah, I guess that's okay. I guess that's okay for a 94. I guess. Yeah, you got to try it. I'd try it. But maybe.
Right. Yeah. Evil Twin. Just the name recognition and the the quality of stuff that I've had from them in the past, it was worth a shot. And it's still excellent, but it's probably actually one of my least favorite stouts from Evil Twin, because I've had stuff, most of the stuff from Evil Twin that I've had is like 98, 97, 98. So a 94, even though it's an excellent beer, it's a slight disappointment in the world of Evil Twin for me personally.
Kind of like us going to Dixie Brewery yesterday. It was nice. There was a lot. We didn't get to go on a tour, so it was like, what the hell, you know? Sorry,
right.
Language.
Oh, that's all right. Well, so 94 and a 100 out of 100. It's another successful Stout Sunday right there. I was hoping maybe some other people would show up late, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go grab some stuff I picked up at the store yesterday. If you have anything you want to share, some upcoming stuff on your channel, anything like that, we'll go through that really quick, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Because
and I'm just gonna drop this out there. They have this whiskey I bought. If you ever want to do a duo, you know, sometimes we do those online examinations.
Right.
It's called Johnny Walker Red Label. You probably can get it.
Oh yeah, no, that's one we talked about. I'm definitely interested in that, and of course I can find that everywhere. It's not going to be a problem. I swear these wines, I'm having more trouble than I thought. So I'm going to call tomorrow. I couldn't do it this weekend because they're closed, but I'm going to call and see where I can find that Fairbanks cocktail sherry, because I know I've seen it before in this area. So it's got to be around here.
Yeah, it is so irritating. I bought a whole liter, 1,000 milliliters, and it was $8.99. Can you believe it?
That's a really good deal. Yeah, I mean, Fairbanks is always really value priced. The port that I bought from them, and then I believe it was the cream sherry. They were both, for the big bottles, they were both under $10 here as well. So
yeah, and that is 18% alcohol.
And they're exactly the value. Yeah, I mean, and not just the 18%. I mean, if it was 18% and it was total crap, then that'd be one thing. But these are quality made. These are quality made products.
Right. I guess most people cook with it, but I'm cooking in a sense. All right. Okay, you can get your stuff and then I'll get my stuff.
All right. We'll be right back, folks.
Boy, we were in New Orleans East and people were saying, like my friend David was saying, it's hard to get to the brewery. It's hard to get to the brewery. And I was saying, I don't believe that, because I was at Martin Wine Cellar buying beer. So I drove to the brewery and I was like, is he kidding me? This is not hard to get to. This is not, I mean, I don't think tourists are going to drive to that area, but beer fans would, but a typical tourist is not going to do that, but
to drive to where?
To the Dixie Brewery. Maybe if they have a vehicle with them, but a lot of tourists fly into New Orleans or take a train. So, I mean, they're not going to go to that obscure location to find Dixie Brewery. I mean, to me, it's like snapping my fingers to get there. I know how to go places, but a lot of people get really paranoid about driving and doing all that. So, I think after the initial rush of the fans, then you're going to go there in a month and it'd be you and the workers standing around waiting for somebody to show up, and
right.
That's what happened in Houston, Texas. It was a great looking brew house, like what you call it, like a beer garden, whatever. And the tours were great. They did such a good job, but nobody went because it's in a warehouse district in Houston in a hard to get area. Not hard for me, but for most people. And so they don't even have brewery tours over there in Houston. They went back to their old practice, which was industrial only. And that was too bad because it was a fascinating tour. But anyway, all right, beautiful gift shop. All right, so sorry.
Right. Yeah, no, I'd love to go one day and check it out. We finally started getting Dixie beer in Alabama, close, right down the street from where my parents live. So I can get regular Dixie beer, I still can't get Dixie Light, or the Black and Voodoo, of course, is one of those things that I enjoyed it. I bought it when I was down in Louisiana, and if they sold it around here, I'd buy it quite often because the price point, I think, is spot on for the quality. It's actually, the price point is a little bit lower than it could be considering the quality that you're getting with that beer. But
yeah,
oh well.
Oh well. They got a lot more craft beers coming out, by the way, over there. So
Yeah, I heard. I guess it was maybe it was you or somebody was talking about at the like at the actual brewery, they have like a fruit beer, they have maybe an IPA, and they have a couple other ones that you can get on draft at the actual location. But whether or not they're gonna, do you know whether or not they're actually gonna bottle them and distribute them, or is it gonna be just exclusively at the brewery?
no, I think they're gonna start making bottled and canned variants. The problem with the previous owners, who still own 20% of the company, but the previous owners had no money. It'd be like me and you. Well, I can't speak for you. You might have a lot more money than me. But it'd be like you and I, or me and somebody else buying a brewery. And people saying, why don't you advertise? Why don't you distribute? Why don't you make all these variants? And I would say, I don't have any money. And you might say, well, why'd you buy a brewery? Oh, I don't know. I thought it would be nice, to do that. So the people, it was a husband and wife that bought the brewery back in the 1980s, but there was one little problem. They didn't have any money. I mean, not any money in the sense that you could adequately finance a brewery and make it successful. So then Katrina, after that hit, there was no chance that they could properly do it. It was just barely hanging on. Luckily, there were enough loyal drinkers around here that said, no, I'm going to keep buying it, and so it did continue on. And well, then the owner of the New Orleans Saints and the New Orleans Pelicans bought Dixie Brewing last year. Well, that changed everything because they got money, a lot of it. And they got a lot to even throw away if things don't go right. Hey, John, give Bumpy's channel a plug for tomorrow Lambics, remember. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I was going to do that. So tomorrow night on Bumpy Road Brewery's channel, he started this new thing, Multi Mondays, and each week there's a different style that he likes to focus on. He kind of goes over some of the BJCP guidelines, and then we basically bring that style and rate the individual beers that we have and compare them to the style guidelines to see if they actually are a true representation of the style and if they're good or not. And it's at 8 Eastern, I believe, because he works Mondays, so he doesn't get off till like right around 7. I think he was trying to initially do it at 7, but it's too much of a push for him to drive home and then set it up and get it started that early. No, Carnal Flores, I am not loaded. By the way, I don't know if you saw this comment. This could just be, I don't know if this is true or not, but he says he works at Mathern's. He gets free beer. My manager is drunk and hooks me up. I don't know about that. I know a few people that work at Mathern's, and somehow I have a feeling that doesn't go down at Mathern's. But
sound like what we call a troll comment.
So anyway, yeah. So what I wanted to show everybody. So first I'll show, and I may have already shown this to you, I don't know, but this is what one of the things that Robert the Whiskey Scout sent me. This is the double-aged 8-year Jim Beam Black, little glass bottle. They don't make this anymore, or they do have the Jim Beam Black, but there's no age statement on it, and it's not 8 years aged anymore. It's somewhere between 4 and 6. And of course, they have the Jim Beam Black or the Jim Beam Distiller's Cut, which I believe they don't make that one anymore either. I believe it's just the regular Jim Beam Black. So this is one that you can't really get anymore unless you just run across it in a store somewhere, but they're not producing it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited to try this. Well, anyway, I was at the store the other day looking for the Fairbanks, getting some craft beer, and just doing my weekly beer shopping. And I decided to splurge. Well, it's actually a pretty good deal. $23.99. I bought the Jim Beam Double Oak bourbon whiskey.
I've never had that.
So I did open it and try a little bit yesterday, and this is excellent. I will be posting a review very soon on my channel for this. And one thing I thought would be cool, I don't do a lot of taste challenges like you do, Ron, but I thought it would be cool to do a taste challenge between the Jim Beam Black Double Aged 8-year and the Jim Beam Double Oak. So double age, double oak. See which one is the winner between those two. Both are 43% alcohol, 86 proof. So I think that'd be a good challenge.
I think it'd be a great challenge.
So Carnal actually says, I work at 3rd Street in Baton Rouge, Johnny. All right. Hey.
Oh, okay. All right. I can't testify to that place. I've never walked on that property in my life.
So JoJo says he had a great vanilla porter last night at Night Shift Brewing in Massachusetts. Wow, that sounds good. I've heard of Night Shift Brewing, probably through Craft Beer Pours and Thomas Metal 75. They've talked about those beers before. Sounds good. And Middlefro, Paul, he's from Canada. He's a home brewer. He says, cheers, gents. We'll watch and rewind yet again. That's all right. Cheers to you, Paul. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Well, Ron, what do you have coming up on your channel?
Okay. So maybe a duo examination of Johnny Walker Red with you.
Yes.
I think Johnny Walker is going to pretty much kill all the other Scotch I'm doing. It's going to just blow them up, except for Buchanan's. It's not going to run. It's not going to run roughshod over Buchanan's.
Right.
I mean, this morning's challenge wasn't exactly challenging, but then we already knew that. Let me show you what I have coming up. Okay. Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right. Cheers to Blake TV for stopping by. Thanks, Blake. He's got a great channel as well. He does Friday Throwdown. He does a show with Alan every Tuesday. Although I believe that's on Blake's channel. Anyway, cheers to you, Blake. Thanks for stopping by.
I don't have any more stouts. If I do Stout Sunday next Sunday, it might be CBS again. That's crazy. All right, I'll probably get kicked off. Damn.
Nah, you're always welcome.
So I was at Martin Wine Cellar about to go meet up Jean and them and David, and I found this. I said, what is this? So they had something called Zony Mash, which is from New Orleans, Zony Mash, which I never heard of. A fluffy wheat IPA with Citra and Equinox hops. I think Zony Mash took over the location where the other out of business brewery went or was. It was an old movie theater. And so this one is called Pillow Talk.
Oh, okay.
So they were inexpensive. So there's Pillow Talk. Now, these companies struggle because people buy them once, they try them, and they move on to something else. That's the problem. Ain't my problem. It's not my problem. I drink craft beer, but I don't fret over it. I never told anybody to start a craft beer company. But anyway, there's the first one. The ABV is 5.5. It's a fluffy IPA. We know what that means.
Fluffy. Fluffy IPA.
Next, Congregation Coffee Roasters, who I never heard of, teaming up with Brewmation, teaming up with Zony Mash to make Brewmation, a milk coffee brown, 5%.
Okay.
Coffee brown. Not far away from where we had parked yesterday. So I said, well, okay, check it out. Next, we have Zony Pop, spiked seltzer. Oh, well. We know seltzer is the thing today. 90 calories, 4.5% alcohol, and it's watermelon flavored, people.
Huh.
So I never bought any of those Bud Light seltzers. By the time I started buying brewed IPAs, they already died out in popularity. They came out, and a week later, they were dying out. And I was like, dang, I was starting to like brewed IPAs. Here's the fourth one I bought, Zoni Mash Sweet Crude. It's a Kolsch. It's 4.5% alcohol. It's a light crispy boy. It's a Pilsner malt, Centennial dry hops. And, you know, I don't know what they're going to taste like. How would I ever know? I would assume they'd be good, but right there in New Orleans. But that's just, I can show you a few more if you're interested. Otherwise, we'll stop the broadcast.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Might as well.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold your pecans.
Let's see. While you're doing that, I'll go back to the chat here for a second. So, Cardinal Flores says, "Go Chiefs." Yeah, I like the Chiefs. I'm kind of pulling for the Chiefs, but I just hope it's a good game. Honestly, I'm ready for a good Super Bowl. I'm just glad the Patriots aren't in the Super Bowl this year. All right. Well, I've been to Louisiana, been to New Orleans, been to LaPlace. Never been to Baton Rouge, but maybe one day I'll check out Baton Rouge and go to the Matherns and ask for Cardinal Flores. See if you're there.
Yeah.
He says that Zoni pop sounds interesting. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Here's one of the Monacos I bought. It's called Monaco Cocktails. The cognac. It's called Cognac Crush. A premium mixed drink made. I bought this in New Orleans. Premium mixed drink. I ended my boycott of New Orleans because it wasn't doing any good anyway. All right. But I went 3 years without buying practically nothing in that city. Monaco. This is a cocktail. It's got a warning, contains alcohol. It's from Minnesota. They were 2 for $5.
I wonder if they call if the brand name is Monaco to kind of give it that highfalutin type feel, because Monaco, the wealthiest, is it an island or
no? It's not an island. It's not an island. It's not an island. It's just a part. It's actually part of France, sort of like, but it's not owned by France. It's its own little kingdom. It's It's too small to be a kingdom. It's own little principality.
Okay. But yeah, very, very wealthy. So I wonder if the Monaco, if they're trying to give it that allure that
the highest real estate prices in the world. It's like a country that's a mile wide and half a mile. I mean, a mile long and a half a mile wide. And if the prince dies with no male heirs, then France has the right to annex the country.
Oh,
which I'm sure they would do in like faster than I can say annex the country.
Right.
But that was the contract. Bottled by the House of Monaco in Cold Spring, Minnesota. Well, right then I knew that was Cold Spring Brewery, which did the Valentine IPA. So this is a pre-mixed, canned 9% cognac cocktail. And I bought a tequila one also, and they were 2 for $5.50. I figured, well, it might be interesting, may not be any good, but now cognac is from France. Then they use grape liqueur, natural flavors, and certified colors. Oh boy. All right. Going on. I want to do this the first Wednesday of March. Carnival beers. Well, I have my Carnival beer. It's called Abita's Mardi Gras Bock. 6.5% alcohol. That's
a good one. I've had that. It's good stuff.
Mardi Gras Bock. They've been making it for years. It has a parade with the thing on it. Then I bought, and I haven't had this in almost 10 years. This, you talk about 100. You want 100? Here you go. This is the finest Bavarian Doppelbock, they claim. It's 6.7% alcohol. It's got a plastic goat on it. And it's called Eyinger Celebrator.
Oh yeah, that is good stuff. I've had that before. I've never seen the bottle with the actual goat on it like that. That's kind of cool. Maybe they all are supposed to come with that, but a lot of the stores just remove them. I don't know, but I've never seen one.
When I was there last time, they didn't have any of them, but they're on this Celebrator. This is one of the highest rated beers I've ever tried, and that is not a joke. I couldn't believe it when I reviewed it years ago. I was like, oh man, it's $3.35 for 11.2 ounce bottle. But it's
and that's a high alcohol too. What's the ABV on that?
6.7.
Oh, well, maybe 20 years ago that would have been considered high alcohol. Now in the ultra high imperial age that we live in, that's just that's nothing now.
Child's play. Now here is something from Abita Brewing. It's called Abita Light Lager. It's 4% alcohol. All right. But the interesting thing about this, 118 calories. I don't know how light that's supposed to be. But here's Abita. This is the original Abita Light. There's one little problem. Recently, they came out with Abita Light, the new Abita Light.
Oh, okay.
And it's 4%. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 4.1% now. 4.1% like Busch Light. But it's only 95 calories, not 118. So you know they're trying to compete with what? Michelob Ultra. What now?
Right. And now St. Archer Gold, because it's 2.6 and 95. So
right.
I was going to ask the original Abita Light that you have. Is the date on it still fresh? I mean, is this like a recent? Is there a date on the bottle?
Hold on, I'm gonna check on it. This. Oh, by the way, the new Abita Light is all barley malt, no corn, no rice, and it says Best Buy April 4th of 2020. Okay.
Right.
This one says Best Buy. Oh well, we won't mention that.
I just figured if they had a new version of it, the old one might be a little outdated. Either that or they had just created the new one and the old one, the original was still on the shelves and it was still relatively fresh, but I kind of had a feeling it might be.
I want to curse the people who distribute Abita beer around this state, but I'm not going to say a word. But I knew what I was doing when I bought it. I was like, can this really be fresh if it's on the shelf with the brand new Abita Light? And exactly what I predicted I got. Oh, well. It's like you crash your car into a brick wall and you say, look, it got wrecked. Well, what did you think was going to happen? You crashed into a brick wall, idiot.
Right. Yeah, the brick wall is just supposed to crumble and your car's supposed to be unscathed.
Right.
In a perfect world.
Anyway, I ought to bring this back to Martin Wine Cellar and said, we got to talk. But anyway.
Oh, man. So what is the I'm sure the world wants to know. What's the date on the bottle?
I'm kind of ashamed to bring it up, but since you insist, Best Buy May 4th of 2019.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Abita, you know what? When I make my video ripping and destroying your reputation and talking dog on you with no mercy, don't blame me. Blame your distributor, and I'm not going to even bring up that it's Crescent Crown. I'm not going to mention that. And bring up, and go after the go after the beer store that's selling it. Why are they selling a beer that's Best Buy May and we already in January 2020? Say, oh yeah, talk about who sells it. What store did you buy? No. I'm not going to even bring up Martin Wine Cellar on this channel. I'm not going to do that on this man's channel. No. You're not going to get that out of me. You're not going to pull that that information out of my mouth.
No way, no how. All right. Well, we've been going almost an hour here, so we will go ahead and wrap this up. Central Florida says that Monaco's Hangover in a Can, not quite as bad as Earthquake beer. I puked with that trash. Earthquake, I've actually had Earthquake recently. I've heard they changed the recipe a little bit, but if you drink it ice cold, it's okay. But it's not a good product though. I'll give you that.
Actually, I could have bought a can yesterday, and somebody told me, and this is a credible source, an Anheuser-Busch bulk merchandiser told me that Earthquake has been dropped to 8%. And I said, I have to find out if that's true because it's always been 10. But you know
well,
what?
they have two. I've had it. I've had the 8% version and the 10% version.
Yeah, but yesterday I was like, I got this distracted and confused, and I forgot to check on it. Otherwise, I would have been looking at that in a hot second. But
right,
it was too much going on. It was like, yeah.
Jeremy says he's gotten outdated Abita beer here in Arkansas. He really has to check their bottles. Yeah,
but okay. So you're in another state. I was at a store that was like literally less than an hour drive from it.
From the brewery.
Yeah, maybe 30 minutes, maybe. So, that's inexcusable, and I'm sorry. Too bad. So get ready, because that video is coming out, and you know what that's going to be like. No, Earthquake is not the worst beer ever. That would be Camo.
Camo Black XXX.
Oh, man.
Ice or whatever it was.
A nightmare in a can.
One of the only beers, if not, maybe the only beer, or maybe you threw two different camos at the fence. But if you go check out Louisiana Beer Review's Camo XXX review, he actually takes the can and throws it up against the fence. It's quite hilarious to watch.
Yeah, even the flies wouldn't drink it. Even the maggot, it was so bad. The maggots were puking. Now that's bad. Like a maggot will eat a dead body, but they were like, Camo, no thanks.
Right. I've heard Axe Head is right there along the same.
It's bad.
On that same level. The Axe Head.
Monstrously bad. It's monstrously bad, but it's no Camo.
And Jeremy, we'll end it. We'll go ahead and end this, but I got to show this real quick. Ron, you need to do a revisit of that Camo beer. Might be better.
I can't. It could be actually, but I can't because
He's been scarred for life from his previous experience.
I don't think anything like that is. I just can't buy it because I was in downtown Detroit, Michigan. I'm not going to run to Detroit to get some Camo. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And I don't think it's doing well enough to where they're going to expand distribution.
No, it's not exactly today's hot item.
All right. Well, thanks, Ron, for joining me. Nice Stout Sunday. Sometimes when you only have a couple people, it works out a little better sometimes because you're not trying to, cycle through everybody. You just have more of a organic conversation. So thanks for joining, and thanks to everybody in the chat for commenting and watching. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So I hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday. If anybody's watching the Pro Bowl, enjoy it. I'm not really interested in that. I'm looking forward to next weekend, the Super Bowl. So that should be good. The Patriots are finally not in the Super Bowl this year, which is I can't even remember. It's been so long since they haven't been in the Super Bowl. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think they were thinking. I think the NFL was thinking about changing the name of it to the New England Bowl, but
Patriot Bowl or something.
Yeah, they didn't do it.
All right. Well, everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks again to Ron from Louisiana Beer Reviews for joining. If you haven't already checked out his channel, Wake Up and Smell the Roses, people, go do it. And we'll see you all on the next one. So cheers.
Cheers.